there is something very wrong with my Landcruiser. We appear to have a monumental vibration. I'm sure you can see it in the footage, and I'm also sure you can hear it. It's worked its way into every component on the interior. Feels like something is about to fall off. I'm doing about 50 miles an hour and this vibration is here. Whether I'm accelerating, braking, steering, not steering, reversing, it's pervasive. So, if you've never seen this car before, all you need to know, this is my 2001 Toyota Landcruiser. It's got the 4.7 litre petrol V8 engine in it, and I rescued this car after it sat abandoned for about 8 years, and there was quite a lot wrong with it. The big headline issue when I got this car was that the cam sprocket on this side had actually sheared off.
Oh, nice.
It means that I had to put a new camshaft in, and it had the same effect as basically the cam belt braking. But all I did was fitted a second-hand camshaft and then just hooked up all of the old timing gear. But it's not the best move. So one of the things I'm definitely going to do in this video is we're going to refresh all of the timing gear. And it gets even worse. This car has developed some kind of electrical fault, which means that almost every single light on the dash is flashing. I've got absolutely no idea what that means. I'm gonna have to just nurse this over to my workshop. Oh yeah, and it still puts out oil on startup. Probably the valve stem seals, right? Add it to the list. Clunk, click before every trip. Who remembers that? I mean, it is really quite severe, this vibration. So place your bets on what you think it might be. It's going to surely be something like a drive shaft, a prop shaft, or a universal joint. Oh, listen to it. 50 miles an hour. Okay, we made it in one piece. Now, one of the things that I first thought this vibration could be was flat spots on the tyres. Now, you know, this car sat for 8 years, so that was my initial thing. Eagle-eyed amongst you will notice, if you've seen this car before, that these are actually different wheels. I've fitted different wheels to this and different tyres, and the vibration's still there. So flat spots on the tyres, it is not. I do actually prefer these wheels. I mean, I know the car's all beat up, but I think these wheels suit this car just a little bit better. You know what, it really does need some love in here. Come on, you can park here. So the missus has got herself a Range Rover. She's never driven a car as big as a Range Rover before. She's still getting used to it.
Let's do it.
Try again.
How?
Just come in wider.
This is not going on the camera.
Just go back out and come in a little bit wider. Go on. Yeah. That's it, perfect.
The washer fluid's low?
Yeah, I'll put some in now.
Is it actually low?
Yeah,
or is this
probably.
an electrical thing?
No, it probably is low, yeah.
Also, there's a coffee.
Oh, delightful, thank you.
And then I have brought all of our lunch, so we can have a little early lunch. Sit down.
Car picnic, because it's absolutely freezing in the workshop. And we've got the little man.
And this is the perfect car for
This is the perfect car for you. You're not keeping it.
And that's why we should keep it.
You're not keeping it.
Even though you probably all saw me driving in just then. Right, that's for you.
Right, that was delightful. Where was I? Hey, what have we got? What have we got? So my hunch, and there's a bit of an educated guess as well, I have been Googling things and doing a bit of research. These sorts of vibrations, you know, they come from the UJs UJ is short for universal joint. These things here, this is the universal joint. It allows it to bend each and every way and transmit drive at the same time. So my hunch is these. Now this is the front drive shaft here that I'm wiggling, and there's no play in that. There's no play in that. This is the rear drive shaft. So if I wiggle that, there's zero play in that, UJ. What about this one? Zero play in that one as well, which is odd. So I wonder if one of these axles is bad. Although this car did pass its inspection, these axles would have been tested. Well, and by tested, I think they just kind of wiggle them, get a pry bar in there to see if there's much play. Wow. Okay, I think I found it. Wow. How's that happened? Take a look at this rear prop shaft. So, in case you didn't know, this prop shaft is a tube, and it's supposed to be perfectly tube-like, and these things are even balanced. This one is not perfectly balanced, because can you see that massive great dent, and then that massive great dent, and then this massive great dent, and then if I turn it over, there's that massive great dent. What has happened to this drive shaft? Look at it. That's not even remotely round. That's unbelievable. And you know what, if you stand here, I don't know if you can see that on camera, so it's supposed to be arrow straight. It goes down and then kind of bends towards the end. That's unbelievable. Has this been off-roading, do you think, and that's just smacked a load of rocks, or I don't know, or do you think someone jacked the car up on this prop shaft? Surely this is my issue. That's not good, but it is an easy fix, just needs a new prop shaft. And so I know what a load of you are thinking as well. You're thinking, how has this thing only just started vibrating? Surely you would have noticed that straight away. And the truth is that I did notice this vibration straight away. I haven't been driving this car because of it. So when I posted the last video, this car went in for its inspection. That wouldn't have been tested. That wouldn't have been, the tester probably wouldn't have spotted that. And the vibration, you don't actually feel the vibration until you get over like 30 miles an hour. So it would have been coming in and out. You saw it coming in and out of the workshop, into the tester, back out again, all of those things. You don't feel the vibration at those speeds. So he wouldn't have seen it. I didn't spot it then either. It wasn't until the car was then road legal and I was actually driving it home, and actually in the footage when I was driving it home from the test, all smug with myself. It was vibrating like that, and I took this car home, parked it, and thought I need to get back on it. So it was doing that from the beginning of my ownership. But what it does mean is that if I fix this now, I can actually use this as a daily, because that is the big impediment to me actually dailying this car. So this car needs a new prop shaft then. What I'm not going to do is fit a brand spanking new one, because I'm just looking online. They're about 300 to 500-ish pounds aftermarket. I don't want to be spending that kind of money. So I'm going to fit a second-hand prop shaft. I'm not going to go and buy one of them on eBay either. I'm going to go and get one from a scrapyard. And when I say scrapyard, what I actually mean is my house, because I've been keeping a rather large secret from you all. Let's go and have a look, which is also hilarious, because I can tell you right now, the missus is going to say, how come you're home? I just bought you lunch. And so the big secret that I've been keeping from you is this car right here. This is obviously another Landcruiser. This one has taken a large shunt in the front. The complete front of this car is dead, needs cutting out, re-welding back on. Now, I bought this car obviously as a parts car, so I've had quite a lot of parts off this car. So I've had rear shocks, a front brake caliper, a number of engine components, coil packs I've had off of it. I can't remember what else from there. Obviously the wheels that are on the other one in the workshop, they were from this car. The full exhaust system, many other things. The cost of those parts, even second hand, added up to thousands of pounds. And so when I was trying to source all the parts for the car in the workshop, I did come across this on eBay, and the cost of this car, it was pennies basically compared to sourcing second-hand components. And look, I know that the general ethos of this channel is that if something can be saved, it should be saved, but it doesn't always work out that way, and sometimes needs must. Not only that, but the seller of this donor Landcruiser did tell me that everyone who had inquired about the car had been breakers. So at the end of the day, this car was always going to be parted out, if not by me, then by someone else. This pop shaft, a good old shake and a wiggle, and it looks like it's good. There's no visible dents. The UJs look okay. So I think we've got ourselves a winner. So I managed to get the front off just fine. And now we're on to this rear section of the prop shaft where it goes into the rear diff. I haven't had to use any unrust spray, whatever that stuff's called, I always forget. As ever with this kind of thing though, access is limited. Okay, it's not what it looks like. The prop shaft isn't crushing me. That would be the fuel tank that's crushing me. Wowzers. Why is the fuel tank falling off? Oh yeah, because when I took the exhaust out, I took the fuel tank straps off for some reason. Go back up. Go back up. Why did I not do you back up? Okay, that's in by a couple of threads. That's enough. Okay, and then this is why you should never look at anything that I do as a tutorial. If you see me doing it one way, you should probably do it the other. Is it gonna fall on my face? Oh. Lovely. Oh, hello. Okay. Good news. Prop shaft off. This one hasn't taken a beating like the other one. It's perfectly round as it should be. Yeah, pleased with that. Looks in good nick. I'll have to re-grease all of this, of course. Okay, so that is the new prop shaft installed. It just went straight in, none of the bolts were stuck, everything was hunky-dory. And whilst the prop shaft was actually out, I greased everything up. You can see there's these grease nipples. I think, is it right? The Americans, you guys call these zerks or something? Anyway, cleaned up all these grease nipples, got my grease gun out. It's the first time I've ever used it. That went okay. Just greased it in there. You can see where all the old grease came out and the new stuff went in. So there's a couple down at the diff end, and then there's another one up in there. So yeah, that's all in, all greased, all looking nice. So I think there's nothing for it really but to take this car for a spin and hope, cross my fingers, that is the issue. And I also greased this front prop shaft, so that should help as well, because there's a little bit of a clunk noise when you go from reverse into drive or drive into reverse, and apparently greasing all of these up is something that helps with that, so we shall see. Alright, so we have drive, which is great, and I didn't hear a big clunking then either going into drive, so that's nice. Very smoky. Okay, I really hope that has sorted the vibration, because if it hasn't, I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure where to go next. Get it up to speed, at least over 30 miles an hour. Oh, you know what, that's done it. Get in, what am I doing? 40. No vibration whatsoever. Yes! Okay, there's a 70 mile an hour road here, so let's go up that just to make absolute sure. Oh yeah, 60 miles an hour. This is absolutely delightful. It's a drivable car. This is amazing. We are now one step closer towards having this as an actual daily. Now obviously all the lights on the dash are still flashing at me. ABS lights on, traction control lights are on, so that is what we're going to sort next. Well, that's what I'm going to try and sort next anyway. I do have an idea as to what it might be. So I do have a good idea of what might be causing these flashing lights, and that is water ingress. So apparently, if you do a load of research online, you find that water ingress into these cars is a bit of a rite of passage. They all do it, and this one does it in a spectacular fashion. If you saw the old video, you'll know that this passenger footwell is green with mould, because it still is. It's absolutely sopping wet. In this side as well, on the driver's side, is if I touch the floor, it's absolutely soaking wet. When this went through its inspection, it was a lot drier. We've had a lot of rain here, and I have noticed that when the car gets a bit dry, we have a spell of dry weather, and I was moving this around the yard at home. The lights were off, and right now we're in the middle of a load of wet weather. The lights are on. So I'm assuming this is water related. So that begs the question, where does water get in? So the two main places are the windshield and the sunroof. Now this car in particular, if you look along the top of the windshield there, isn't in the best of condition. There's rust. You can see it goes all the way down there, down this pillar. So, you know, there could definitely be water, you know, getting in here past the seals. That's definitely one issue on this car. But the issue that lots of these cars actually face is down here. So what happens is that these windscreens, they get replaced, and I don't know if you can see in there, but this piece of moulding, when the windscreen fitters take this out, I don't think a lot of them realise that there are some special Toyota only rivets that actually go back in there and hold this in. A lot of the windscreen guys, they take it out and they either just drill the holes out and then put a self tapper in, or they screw. Very few of them use the approved, the genuine Toyota rivet, and you can see that this is certainly one of them. This one here is just missing completely, and then if you go down there, there are just random kind of screws in there. That shouldn't be like it. And the other side is exactly the same. So I would say that this windscreen is leaking quite a lot of water every time it rains. And then the other place it comes from is actually the sunroof. The sunroof, there's some drains in here. They clog up and just cause big problems. And then all of these water leaks, they come, so the sunroof one comes down there, the windscreen comes down there, they all seem to come down the A-pillars and then down there into the footwell. Exactly the same on the other side. I'll share a photo right now on screen. This is just someone else somewhere who had the exact problem, and you can actually see the dripping water. So if we get under the dash, so right here, there's 2 modules up there, and if I get my head up there, I can see there's actually a load of rust around there. I think water is getting into those 2 modules, and that's what's causing a lot of my problems. And it just so happens that those 2 modules that are up there, one is this one, tilt and telescopic. That's actually for the motorized steering wheel. You know, when it comes out, it goes up and down, which doesn't work. And the other one that's up there, is this one. What does that say? ABS and TRC and VSC. All of the lights that I've got flashing on the dash there. Now these 2, I pulled these off of the other Landcruiser at home at the same time as getting the prop shaft off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up there behind the dash. I'm going to just swap these out. I don't think they need coding in or anything. The car's too old for that kind of malarkey. So I'm just going to get up there, replace these, and then we're going to have to sort out these water leaks. Okay, so here's a different view of the modules that I'm talking about. Take a look at all of that rust in there. But one thing that's really caught my eye is that there, that's the connector that goes into the module. That kind of looks like it's melted, which kind of makes me think that something in there has been shorting out, and we've probably been 1 second away from a fire. And then also, look, you can just see there's water. There's water in there. As I started pulling this down, water is coming out of here, so this has got to be our issue. See this water dripping? Well, that is coming from inside of the ABS and traction module. Oh my word. I don't know how to even go about sorting this out. Oh no. So I hope you can see that. You can see that this plug is melted, and it's melted into the socket. So the plug is fused to the socket. The wiring doesn't look good. But because these are fused together, how do I separate the plug from the housing? It's now all one piece. If I snip this off, I'm going to have to rewire all of that. And if I'm honest with you, I don't know how to rewire things. This is catastrophic. And take a look at this one here. Look, that's blown a hole in the casing where it's all just melted through. It's melted a hole through the casing of whatever that is. I have never had to deal with this before. Every part of me is saying, ditch this Landcruiser and go and fix the other one. I got it out, but not without a fight. I had to cut the plastic away with a hacksaw, so you can see there just how damaged that was. Now that's one thing, that's one issue, because this is now out. Look, you can see how rusty it is. It was filled with water. There's a bigger issue, and that bigger issue is what to do with this plug. So you can see it's destroyed. So you can see where I cut through just a little bit too far there, and I actually went through a couple of the terminals on that side. You can see so many of these wires, all of the insulation is burnt away. So there's bare wire there, there's bare wire all around there. There's a load of those cables in the middle, up to about there. They're all dead. That's one issue. But another issue I've got is, because this plastic got so hot, it's actually fused. It's fused the plastic to the terminals, so you can't de-pin this. So when I say de-pin, you can remove the cables from this connector. And if you look on the back here, so this is like a little locking, sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed. Like this whole thing here is like a locking tab. And again, because all the plastic is melted together, you can't remove the locking tab because the actual internal parts of the locking tab have melted to the rest of the connector. So I can't actually de-pin any of these because the plastic is all melted. So I think what I might actually have to do is just cut all of these cables. I mean, how many are there? There's about 20 or so. I might have to cut all of these up there and then go and do the same on the Landcruiser at home and then splice all of the cables together. I just can't think of another way of doing it. And it's all because I can't de-pin that connector. And here's the other problem, is that I don't know how to splice cables together. I've never done wiring of this type before. So, I don't know. I need to work this out. I just do not want to cut this. I just do not want to cut this. I cut it. I took the executive decision. There's just no way of de-pinning it. So if you can't de-pin it, you have to cut it. Look at some of these wires, look. Absolutely trash, this thing. Oh no, how do you splice wires together? And of course this now means as well that I've got to grab some tools, get in the car, drive all the way home, get out in the rain, snip this connector off, get back in the car, come all the way back to the workshop, and then realise that I don't even have enough stuff here with me now to actually do this job. I still need some crimps and some heat shrink, which I've ordered and should be coming tomorrow. So that means then that really I need to turn my attention to the timing belt. So the problem that I had with this car to begin with was this camshaft on this side, the sprocket had snapped off of it. And so what I did is I pulled it all apart, took all the timing gear out, inspected everything, put all the old timing gear back on, so retimed all the engine, and then just said, oh yeah, look, fantastic, the engine isn't actually broken, because I didn't want to fit new timing gear to this and then realise that the sprocket snapping, you know, had actually broken the engine in a fundamental way. So what I've got here is a Gates timing belt kit and a water pump, and so I'm going to go through now and fit all of this. Really what you have to do is you have to take all of this air hose and majig stuff off. The fan has to come out, I'll drain the coolant, and then you see all of these pulleys and the belt. This is all the drive accessory, everything. All of this stuff is going to come off, and then behind it is all this stuff that's going to get replaced, the water pump and some of these idler pulleys, and obviously the belt itself. I just want to get my head down, get going, and get it done. Okay, progress. All of the timing kit gear is off of the front, everything's disconnected, everything's removed apart from the crankshaft pulley McThinger down there, because my kit didn't come with one, so I'm just reusing that. Should be okay, I hope. It went smoothly apart from one thing, and that is I snapped a rather large bolt. This is the bolt that holds the alternator onto the engine. It's actually a brand new bolt, and I don't know, I just was undoing it and then ting. So it's the first broken bolt I've had on this car, and it happens to be the newest bolt, so I don't know what that means. And so this is it down there. You can see it's just snapped off in that hole. So now I am going to have to try and extract the remainder of that bolt
from that hole. This is not going to be fun, because if I come back out slowly, you can see where I am. It's kind of right down there. Doesn't matter whether you come up from underneath or down from above. It's just not going to be a fun one. So I need to get this bolt out, and it is already being a pain in the rear. So the problem that I'm facing is the fact that this bolt is actually snapped off flush with that face. And what I was attempting to do was to try and drill it out and then use some kind of screw extractors on it. But because I'm down here and the access is really tight, so for instance, if I want to come down here and then try and, so if I want to just kind of center punch that bolt in order to start drilling, what happens is that by the time you've got that on there, there's not actually enough room to properly swing a hammer in this small gap and hit this hard enough. That's kind of one issue. And then another one is, if I get my drill, even with this really short bit on it, there's not quite enough room still to actually then get in there and drill that straight, because it fouls on this. And so you can say, well, remove this fan shroud, this bit which is this big plastic thing. Yeah, okay, cool. But then because of how it is, even if with the fan shroud removed, you can't lean into the drill to get enough pressure to drill it out, because I'm like holding it down like that and just trying to use my arms to push. So I have been unsuccessful so far in trying to drill that bolt out. But what I have been doing is I just went, obviously, where else am I going to go? YouTube, to have a look if there's another way of doing this. And I came across this video of a guy trying to remove a flush bolt, a flush manifold bolt. And so this guy's basically just welding this large washer. That's the stud there. So you're going to weld a washer to the stud and then weld a nut to the washer. And then he managed to get it out doing that. So I'm going to give this a go. I've got a big washer. I've got a big old nut, and this is going to be only the second time I've ever welded anything alone by myself. I did it before on my BMW. I welded a nut to a bolt to get that out. So I'm a little bit nervous about it, but I've just got to crack on, and I can't see any other way of doing this. Hopefully I can be successful, please, because I don't know what to do after that, to be honest. Okay, here goes nothing. I don't know if the settings on the welder are correct. It's just the last ones used, and that kind of worked for me. So the best way for me to do this is to kind of come at it from underneath. I can just about get in there. So I think actually it's easier if I go from above, but marginally. Okay, was that a start? No. I think I'm gonna have to go back to the original plan of just trying to hold it with my hand somehow. I can't feel anything with these silly things on either. I've tried holding it on with these mole grips, I've tried holding it on with a magnet. Yes, I think I did it. I just wanted to tack it on, that's all I wanted to do, tack it on. Get in. Right, now I can actually just try and weld it on there a bit more. So you can see there, look, I've got the washer welded on, hopefully, to the bit of bolt. Now I just need to weld this nut onto the washer, which should be a lot easier. All I can do now is get a socket on it and see if it comes off. Okay, come on, please. Surprise me. Surprise me. Yeah, surprise me by just coming instantly off. Oh, not even close. Okay, so take two. You can see I've welded another washer on there. So I'm just going to weld another new nut to that. And we'll try again. Come on, please. No, it's just straight off again. Oh. It might not look it, but it's actually the next day. I lost a good few hours trying to get this bolt out, and it's still not out. And I just made a massive hash of it to the point where I don't know, I don't know what to do. It's kind of like, it's broken. I've really messed it up. I'm very annoyed with myself. So look at it, it's absolutely abysmal. You can see I've been in there drilling it, and I drilled it off center, and I took some, well, just look at it. I don't need to explain much more than just look at it.
So this is the part of the video where things really start to go downhill. And I'd just like to take this moment to mention to any new viewers that have come onto the channel that I am not a trained mechanic. I'm just kind of teaching myself as I go. Yes, I know it looks a bit confusing because I've got a workshop and I've got a lift. This is just a result of doing YouTube. A lot of the time when you see me doing these jobs, it's the first time I've ever done these tasks. And so the chances that I'm going to screw up are high. And you're about to witness a whole load of screw ups on my part in quick succession. But here's something I want you to think about. And this is something I know for a fact. And it's that you never really, truly learn a lesson the easy way. You think you might, but if you actually think about all the biggest lessons in life, they always learn the hard way. This is me learning the hard way.
So the main problem was how it's ended up like that. So I tried welding it a couple more times and just couldn't get the purchase on it. It's properly stuck in there, that bolt. I thought, oh, okay, fine. Let's have another go then at drilling it out. And so I pulled the fan shroud out, gave myself more access, borrowed a much better drill, went out and bought new drill bits, center punched it, did everything, drilled a little pilot hole, went really well, managed to drill quite, far-ish. And then what I've got is these screw extractor things. They're left-hand thread. These things, they dig into the hole you've just drilled, and then you turn them and it grips onto the bolt and then it pulls it out. And I got one of these in there and I got a really good purchase on it, and I started turning and I could feel it digging in and everything was going really well. And as some of you already know what just happened, this is it. It snapped. But the problem is that bit got stuck in the bolt and I couldn't get it out. So then I tried to re-drill that bolt, but instead of drilling the bolt, I was having to drill this, and this is way, 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 way harder than the bolt. And it's where I was trying to drill this, the drill moved without me kind of realising, because I'm still at funny angles like this. And then it went, and then wandered. And now I can't get a purchase on anything. No drill bit will actually get, it's a long-winded explanation, all to say that I really screwed up. And I'm not proud of my workmanship there at all. This is terrible. There'll be another load of you wondering why on earth I don't just unbolt this whole face plate that thing's a part of, take it off. Well, the reason is because first, I don't have the tool to remove this to get all of this metal off. And secondly, it actually goes down into the sump. So I think you need to take the sump off, and I don't think you can get it all off. It's not good. It's not good.
So it's about 3 weeks later, and I didn't think this could happen, but things have gone from bad to worse.
So as we know, I destroyed this ear here. To sort this out, to rectify this, means I just need a whole new bit. But this isn't just a little bit here, you see. This is actually part of the oil pump. And the oil pump is this whole thing, all this metal you can see here is the oil pump behind the crank sprocket there. I need a new oil pump, which I've got right here, along with a load of other related parts. I've splashed out a fair amount of money on all of this stuff, if I'm honest with you. This is, it's all genuine Toyota. You can see it there. I had to wait a little while for all of this stuff to actually come in, which is all very well and good. But obviously I need to get the old oil pump off. And in order to do that, of course, it does mean that this sprocket has got to come off. Now, I think you can see by the state of that sprocket that I have given this thing a bit of abuse. Now, according to the forums, these engines are in quite a few vehicles. Obviously in these Landcruisers, they're in a few of the American Toyotas, the Tundra, I think, a couple of other Forerunner, all sorts of things. There are guys, especially in the dry states in America and the guys in Australia, who say that this thing really just comes off by hand, which I can tell you right now does not come off by hand. There are other guys who say no, it just needs a little bit of action, and there is actually a tool that you can use to take this off, and you can see that there's a hole there, there's a screw thread there, and there's one on the underside too. And what you can do is you can get a tool like this, and then what you do is you get a bolt that side like that kind of thing. You get another one on that side. It's just a puller. You screw these into here like this, and you use the puller and you pull this off. The bolt holes, they're only small. This is an M6 bolt, so really small, and they're really small, I imagine, because they're not on there with any great force. You should be able to just pull it off. This one obviously is not coming off with anything approaching ease. In fact, it's not coming off at all. This is the bolt that I have been, well, one of the two bolts that I have been using to try and pull it off. Now, I don't know if you can see something slightly off about this bolt. Of course, it's that it's a lot thinner here, and that's where I've been pulling it and pulling it and pulling it, and it was just about to snap. And the same with the other bolt. That's the other one. You can see that one's wonky and thinning out in the middle there. So yeah, that sprocket cannot be pulled off with a tool. It just doesn't want to know. So what I did, I got in there and I used more heat than the sun contains, trying to get this thing to free off. Absolutely no luck whatsoever. And I really do mean I have given that a hell of a load of heat. I've even taken a hammer to this just to give it a little bit of shock therapy. That hasn't worked. Now, I haven't hit it very hard for two reasons. Number one, you can't actually swing a hammer in here very far. And second, obviously, this is the crankshaft, and so I don't want to be bashing the crankshaft with a hammer. That looks way worse than it is, and it's because this sprocket is actually really soft. And you can tell it's really soft because if you look here, you can see where I tried to get a pry bar behind there, so in between the oil pump and the rear of this sprocket, and pry it off. And this lip, there's a lip that goes around there, it's just snapped off. So you can see how soft this metal is. This sprocket is absolutely welded to that crankshaft. And I feel as though I've exhausted most of my options. I have, like I said, I've heated it up more than you could imagine. I have given it loads and loads of penetrant whilst it was hot, you know, heat it up, get the penetrant in there, and I've hit it with the hammer. You can't get, so you get these types of pullers, 2-legged or 3-leg pullers. There's not enough room to get the thing behind it to actually get a purchase on it. Now, I do sometimes ask myself the question, how is it that I always get myself into these scenarios? And the obvious answer is simply that, well, I'm buying the worst cars known to mankind, aren't I? I should really just try and buy a nice car, but then there wouldn't be a video, would there? Just be a video of me sitting there just really enjoying myself for an hour. Sounds quite appealing, to be honest. Right, look, at the end of the day, fortune favours the stupid. That's not the saying, is it? Yes, I very lightly nicked the crank there, but I mean, I can't even really feel that with my nail, so I'll probably just sand that a bit. But look, you can see I've cut it, and then what I did was I got the ball joint splitter in there, gave it a bit of bishing and bashing, and I think this sprocket is now snapped along that line, and I'm hoping, yeah, it's kind of moving a bit with my hand, only a little bit. It's coming. Oh no. can't think of anything to say. This is, out of everything I've ever done on this channel, you get to see warts and all on this channel. You've seen me have some real highs. This is about the biggest low I think I've ever had. This whole affair, trying to drill that bolt out, and now cutting through the crankshaft. This is embarrassing. This, you know. So here's the sprocket, right? So that's the front, the bit we could all see. So focused, look, on not cutting all the way down in order to hit the crankshaft, which I didn't do at the front because that was the only bit I could properly see. But where I caught it, of course, was on the middle bit. So I didn't catch it. I didn't catch the crankshaft in this section, and obviously I didn't go all the way through the back. I went through the middle, so I just couldn't see. I was just doing it completely blind. I thought I still had that much to go. I've just had a shocker.
What?
So this wouldn't come off, right? It wouldn't come off. Nothing would do, so I cut it. And you know what I've done, don't you?
You cut into the crank?
Yeah.
How bad?
Have a look.
It's obviously heated. Oh, that'll be alright.
Will it?
Yeah, that'll be. Oh, you'll be alright. Oh, you did go, yeah, you did
Yeah.
go.
I went through the middle, look, because I could see this.
Yeah.
I could see it from the front.
You could see the difference.
I could see it from the front, and so I was like, oh, I'm all right. I'll stop there. But I went through the middle.
I think you'll be alright. I mean, it's not ideal,
No.
but I think you'll be alright.
You reckon it's not
Yeah,
going to
you'll
like
be
throw it out of balance or anything?
No.
I was like, oh, am I going to have to rebuild the engine?
No. It's one of them, okay, it's got the cam belt on and everything, but it's not taking the stresses of the, like if it was more internal,
Yeah.
yeah, it would be, no, because it's a cracking point. That there, realistically, no. Realistic.
Oh, really? What I thought that's it. It's all. I literally thought it's all over. Completely and utterly over.
No.
I was like, oh, I'm going to go pull the engine out of the other one.
No, I wouldn't.
No?
No, I wouldn't panic. I wouldn't panic.
I was literally panicking. You caught me right in the middle of panicking. I've taken some advice from people way more in the know than myself. I've done a load of Googling. I've been looking at people who have got damaged crank snouts or crank noses, which that section of the crankshaft is called. And the general consensus is that whilst I am a massive idiot, having done that, it shouldn't cause too much problems. Now, if this was a garage that actually worked on customers' cars and not my own, or if this was a customer car, would you replace the crankshaft? 100%. If this was a dealership, would you replace the crankshaft? 100%. If you're an engine builder, you'd replace the crankshaft. This is my personal car, and I'll be driving it. I'm going to take the risk of not worrying about it too much, to be quite honest with you. If this engine blows up because of that, which I can't imagine it would, then that's on me, completely on me. That gouge, I just measured it with the, Majigger things. The lowest point, so the gouge is arced like that, and that's because obviously the cutting blade is round. The deepest point of the gouge is 1.18 millimeters, right? And the wall thickness, if you like, of the crank is over 5 millimeters. So we're talking about that, the deepest part of the gouge, which is only a tiny little bit, it's gone a fifth of the way through the material. I decided to just plough on regardless. But what I didn't realise at this point right here was that this oil pump and the gouge in the crank were about to be the least of this car's problems. So draining this oil, and there appears to be a substantial amount of metal in it, which is fantastic. Oh no. You know what, I am just starting to wonder if this whole endeavour with this car is futile. I want to have a look
Of course that's stuck on. I want to have a look in the oil filter and check to see if there's any metal in there, because that is sparkly. Who put this on? Oh my word! Oh, it does not want to come off. Wow. You know, I woke up in a pretty good mood this morning. It's absolutely amazing how quickly things can just do a full 180. There's a lot of sparkles in this oil that I've just drained out of this engine. There's still a fair amount of oil left in this filter. It's hard to actually see. If I tip the oil up there, oh, that's so difficult to see on camera. You can see the metal in there. Not just that, but when I undid the drain plug, like large bits of metal were coming out. I've lost it in the pan now. If I put my... This was a clean pan before I started draining, and there's just metal in it. I can feel, there's a bit, there's just chunks. Can you focus on there? There's chunks. That's all chunks of metal. Ow, that hurts actually. I just stabbed myself with a bit of sharp metal. Fantastic. I wonder if I can cut open this oil filter. Okay, so this is clear as day. You're going to get some debris in an oil filter, that's its job. But there are chunks of metal in there. Is it focused? Focus. That is terrible. Absolutely horrendous. All right, and if we actually look into the filter, I mean, if you can see that in there are just chunks of metal. Look, there's a big chunk of metal. Whoa, there's just metal filings in there. Whoa, look at all that metal in there. That's all metal. Oh no, this is, whoa, what's that? Look at that, that's all metal. No, oh wow, wow. This Landcruiser really has just gone from bad to worse. Yes, a couple of these issues were clearly my fault, but a lot of them are not my fault. This car it's road legal junk, to be quite frank with you. And this is the risk that you always take, right? This car was sat for 8 years. I have no history on it. I don't know who owned it. I don't know what they did with it, how they treated it. I've got absolutely no idea whatsoever, right? This is just the risks that you take. And I'm not surprised that there's a load of metal in the oil. I'm disappointed, absolutely, but I'm not surprised. And this just comes with the territory. You know, I was riding a real high from the first video on this where I actually got it back to life. I thought from here on in, it was just gonna be, you know, relatively plain sailing. But now, I don't know about this car. I just don't know about it. Here's what I want you to think about, and this is what I really want your input here, is do I do all the repairs to this car? Because the body's got to come off this car to rust proof it, to rust treat it, to get all the surface rust off of the chassis. I need to still go through lots of the suspension. This engine now looks as though it's going to need a rebuild. There's all the electrical issues in this car. Do I bother going any further? Or, and this might sound like a bit of a crazy thing, or instead, do I go and get the Landcruiser, the donor car that's at home, and bring that back to life? Take the parts back off of this car, put them onto that one and rebuild it. Because I tell you what, right now, that car's a lot less rusty than this car. It's actually a nicer all-round car. The bodywork
is way nicer. The interior is nicer. It's not leaking, it is leaking a little bit actually, but it's not leaking anything like this. It's not got anything like the electrical problems on this. I'm wondering whether to cut my losses now and turn this into the parts car and actually bring that one back to life. Yes, it's crash damaged, but that can be fixed. I don't know. I don't know. Or do I take the engine out of that one and put it in this? There's so many different options here, and I want your opinions on it. Write down in the comments what you think I should do from here, because I'm torn. I really don't know. So it'd be good to hear what you think. And now would be a fantastic time to subscribe to the channel if you could. It only takes 1 second. We're gonna have to work this out. But in the meantime, if you did enjoy this video, even though everything went wrong and I screwed everything up, if you did enjoy it, you might also enjoy this video right here. You win some, you lose some, right? But it's not over, it's not over. One of these two cars is fully gonna come back to life. But until then, I'll see you soon.